Hey guys, I'm back. I know I'm super late, but this video is going to be a 2-in-1. I will be doing the episode that I completely missed like 2 weeks ago and the episode that aired this past Tuesday. And I'm kind of glad that I did that because I feel like these two episodes really go together. So bear with me. I'm going to just talk about the main parts and let's get into it. So Spencer, she is in Radley, and as she's there, we all know this to begin with, okay? Spencer is basically in Mona's old room at Radley, kind of ironic and all that. Hannah, her mom, is completely worried about Wilden. She's like, okay, she's looking in the newspaper and everything, and she's like, what's going on? Why haven't we heard anything? And all this stuff. And then a little bit later in the episode, Wilden actually shows up in front of the church when Hannah and her mom go to see Pastor Ted, and he's all, talking to Ted and stuff, and Hannah and her mom are like, why isn't he saying anything about what happened, And I guess that makes Hannah's mom even more paranoid. Now, back to Spencer. Dr. Sullivan shows up and sees her, and she's like, what are you doing here? What happened that was so terrible that you're now here? And Spencer talks about how, she left her purse, she left her ID because she no longer wants to be Spencer. And she talks about that, and she also said, because Dr. Sullivan asked Spencer, what happened in the woods. And Spencer says, hold up. Oh, she mentions that somebody killed Toby. I don't know why. I was trying to read my handwriting and think at the same time. She says, somebody killed Toby, and Dr. Sullivan says, are you sure about that? And Spencer says, somebody did kill Toby, but I am the reason he's dead. So that's why she's having such a horrible breakdown and going through so much. Also, a little later on the show, Hannah, she receives a picture from A that shows her mom and Wilden the night that Hannah's mom hit him. And she's like, well, great. Now there's picture evidence and all this other mess that's going on. I mentioned that. The guy at Radley who is giving Spencer her medication and talking to her, she notices his name badge and it says E. Lamb on it. And if you remember, that was the name that Toby used to get in and out of Radley. And then they also mentioned later on, because she was asking him questions like, okay, so these keys, these cards, they have like sensors in them and stuff so you can get in and out of places. And he mentions that, it wasn't just the passes, or his name badge. They were also having issues at Radley with visitors' passes and things. So basically things have been going on and they've noticed, but, it is what it is. I really don't want to mention that. I'll just mention it. Emily, she meets Missy Franklin, and I looked her up because I wasn't 100% sure who she was. I mean, if you're into like swimming and the Olympics and all that, okay, then you knew who she was, but she's an American swimmer and a 4-time Olympic gold medalist, so that's pretty awesome. And she was in the show, and Shauna introduced Emily to her. And I was like, okay, this is a big switch from the last time we saw her, but I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to say much about that. Aria. Now, here's the thing, guys. This past episode, we're still on the episode I missed 2 weeks ago, but this past episode made me really dislike Aria. But after rewatching the show from the previous show, Aria did say something that, made me go, yes, Team Aria. When she was in the bathroom and she confronted Mona, she said something along the lines of, you're going to wish you had broken your neck when you fell off that cliff. I was like, wow. Okay, Aria, I'm with you on that. But like I said, Aria did something in the most recent episode that, well, she didn't say anything. She did something in the most recent episode that made me just want to slap her. It actually made me not want to watch Pretty Little Liars anymore, but we're going to get to that just momentarily. Mona actually takes the initiative to go and visit Spencer and Radley. And then she talks about how, Spencer, you're not crazy. You're just as sane as I am. And I was like, yeah, Mona, that's a real step up. That's a real step up. And then Wilden, he comes into the picture. He wants his car back. He knows Hannah has something to do with his car. And Hannah's just standing there like, I don't know what you're talking about. What car? What car? And he's like, I just want the keys to the car. Tell me where my car is. And then at the end of the episode, Spencer is having her evaluation with Dr. Sullivan, and there are other patients at Radley there in the circle. And then I guess you could say she kind of hallucinated at the end. I mean, there is symbolism in this, but you see Emily, Aria, and Hannah sitting there as if they were actually there. And Spencer's talking to them, and she says, you don't know who I am anymore, and you can't count on me. So basically, even though the girls weren't there, she's telling them, it's a symbolism. She's telling them, you know, I'm gone. You know, you girls just can't count on me anymore to help you out with this, because I'm just going to start doing things my way. That's the way I got it. So that was that episode. Now on to the next one. So at the start of the next episode, the girls go to see Spencer, and they're trying to tell her, you know, they're trying to convince her to come home. Spencer is basically like, I'm not leaving. I don't want to leave. There's no point. And Hannah blurts out, you know, they found another body. Or the body that Spencer thought was Toby wasn't Toby. And Spencer keeps telling the girls, yes, it was him. I know what I saw. And then Hannah, she gets loud and everything. And Spencer gets up and says that, you know, she feels safer in Radley because, you know, sure, she may not be able to get out, but it prevents certain people from getting in and messing with her. Then, I forgot to mention in the last episode, Ezra, he's looking for work. Aria talks to her dad. Aria goes to talk to the principal because the principal wants to know exactly what was going on between her and Ezra and that situation. So Ezra and Aria, they're actually, in this episode, they go get, I guess, breakfast, brunch, one of the two. And then Ezra gets a call from Maggie asking him if he can go pick up Malcolm from his karate class. And he also mentions the job and everything. And then Emily is constantly getting messages from Shauna. And Paige is out of town. And Aria is all like, you need to nip that in the bud real quick, sweet pea. Let's see here. Oh, and also they mentioned getting photographic evidence of the body that was found in the woods. Because at the moment, the body is under the name, you know, John Doe. But Emily's like, well, we've been to the morgue before. We can just go take a picture and then show it to Spencer to prove that it was not Toby that she saw in the woods. And Spencer, while she's there at Radley, Eddie gives her a game. And apparently Ren comes up and he mentions that, you know, Mona, she played that game too and stuff. So when Spencer's looking at the game board, she notices that there's a map on it. And you realize that this is Mona's map. And she starts walking around, going to certain areas in Radley, trying to figure out what, you know, is there that either caught Mona's attention or Mona could be hiding something in certain places. Now, there's a situation at the church. Aria's mom confronts, she doesn't confront Hannah. Hannah was just walking by. And she tells Hannah that the bell that Jamie took in order to have it repaired was not the bell that was returned to the church. And it's of much lesser value than the bell that they were originally hoping to get. Spencer's mom comes to visit her, and she's all like, you'll be back to yourself in no time, and blah, blah, blah. She's talking about, you know, getting Spencer to put on the clothes that she bought, and Spencer's like, you know, I'm not ready to leave. And then she finally snaps and yells at her mom, and her mom is kind of like, oh, wow. And then Spencer starts to break down, and then her mom mentions, you know, I'm worried about you because this is how Allison was, like, a few weeks before she passed away. And, well, didn't pass away, she was killed. And Spencer's like, what are you talking about? And her mom has, you know, there's the flashback and everything, and apparently Allison, she got into a fight with somebody, and she begs Miss Hastings not to tell anyone about it. And Spencer's like, well, why didn't you ever mention this to anyone? And there was that situation. What happened after that? Jamie gets fired from his work at the church because of everything that's been going on. And Caleb is in shock. And Hannah's just kind of sitting there like, you know, just kind of looking down. Now, this is the part where I mentioned in the very first half of this video that Aria just pissed me off. She goes to pick up Malcolm. And the lady says, oh, he's already been picked up. And she said, oh, by who? And she said, Aria Montgomery. And Aria's like, oh. And the lady says, there's something wrong? And she's like, oh, no. I wanted to go through the screen and strangle somebody. And I know it's just a show. But I take something like that very seriously. If you know a child has possibly been taken by someone else or someone trying to be you, you need to step up and you need to say something. I cannot stress that enough. I was just very stunned that Aria just kind of, you know. But considering what's been going on in her life and knowing who possibly could have taken him, I get it. But at the same time, I mean, in real life, if that happens, I really hope that someone would call the police right away. She does find Malcolm, and she said, well, who brought you here? And he said, oh, your friend Allison. Right. Jamie comes by Hannah's house, and Caleb basically is very emotional. He tells him, you know, things, this isn't quote unquote, but, you know, he can't exactly trust him, and Jamie's just kind of like, oh yeah, point the finger at the person who doesn't have a permanent address or a place to go, and blah, blah, blah. And then Caleb mentions that, you know, Hannah has spoken to him, and that this isn't the first time Jamie has stolen from the church. And things kind of blow up from there. Caleb got very, very emotional. That's all I'm going to say. Very emotional. Alright, so last few things. Emily finds out from her mom that they found another body in the woods. And this body could possibly be Toby. Aria is basically telling Ezra that she just can't do this anymore. Because if someone were to get hurt, she'd rather it be her and not Malcolm or Maggie or Ezra or anything. And then, oh yeah, Spencer gets out of her room and she goes to another area on Mona's map. And she sees Allison and they talk. And then she goes and finds, you know, I believe it was like a piece of paper. And then a pass that said CC Drake on it. And then Ren finds her and they talk. And at the end of the episode, you pretty much find out that Jamie was being framed by, guess who? A, or the A-team, or however you want to look at it. Overall, these 2 episodes were good. I'm just ready for the finale. We better find out who Redcoat is, or I'm just going to be very, very agitated with this show all over again. Like I said, good episodes. I know it's just a show, but like I said, what happened with Aria and Malcolm and her not reporting it, that just really got on my last nerve. It really ticked me off, and I was very, very disappointed, actually, in Aria. So, other than that, I'm looking forward to the finale, because looking at the sneak peek, it looks like Spencer has joined the A-team, or she's joined the A-team, you know what I mean? And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So, I'll talk to you guys later. See you in my next video, and I hope you enjoyed.